Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. How is everyone doing today? And in this video, I'm going to be going over the details of the upcoming Saiyan Day LR Majin Vegeta plus Super Saiyan 2 Goku Angel and the banner unit PUI PUI. I think I am saying that the right way. But, you know, or else we have Omatsu instant transmissioning himself out of the main producer's seat so that Geppy can sit down because, Goku always leaves so that Vegeta can take over as well, right? Nope. But let's go over and see the animations. This is the preview, of course. This is for the entire celebration, of course. They showed this on the live stream. Now we have this here. A LR, which is a first for Saiyan Day. And this is their intro animation, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'll soon see the kit, which I have not looked at, actually. And then I will be able to see exactly if that is an entrance animation or not. This is technically a what-if character. Kind of like the Gohan and Goku LR. The one that hasn't EZU'd yet, I should say. Alright, and now we can go in on the animations for PUI PUI. Let's make that fit in to the screen. Snipe shot. Okay, now they're going back into the animations for Goku and Vegeta, which we actually just saw in the preview. So let's go and look at this LR and see what the details are looking like. So Pure Saiyans, corroded body and mind, or Gifted Warriors, Ki plus 3, 200% health, and 170% to attack and defense, plus an additional 50% to stats for characters who also belong to the Majin Buu Saga or Uncontrollable Power category. Interesting choice. And if you're telling me that these are the stats here on the left side for this unit before max hidden potential, you're talking about nearly 30,000 health, nearly 20,000 attack, and 1,400 defense. Roughly, give or take. That is a lot of health. That is a lot of health. Okay, so it didn't all fit on one page. Fair enough. Ki plus 3, 300% attack and 200% defense, 18% damage reduction, and has guaranteed guard. 3 or more Ki spheres obtained, or when 3 or more extreme class allies are on the team, Ki plus 3 with at least 1 Ki sphere obtained, 180% attack, and launches an additional super attack when attacking. And then 180% extra defense, and another 18% damage reduction when receiving an attack. 5 or more Ki spheres obtained, or when 4 or more extreme class allies are on the team, Ki plus 3 with at least 1 Ki sphere obtained, another 18% damage reduction when receiving an attack, and once only gains 180% defense when receiving an attack. And that's not a permanent thing, it just happens once only. Okay, I'm seeing things that I like, right? You're getting this extra damage reduction when receiving an attack, you're getting all this stuff when... all this defense, and I'm like wondering, why isn't it just being written in that they have that damage reduction? Why do they have to add when receiving an attack? Does that mean that it activates after the first attack happens, or before the first attack happens, so long as it's when receiving the attack? I don't know. Well, let's continue on to see if this gets any better. 7 or more key shares obtained, or when 5 or more extreme class allies are on the team. Key plus 5 with at least 1 key share obtained, and another 18% damage reduction before attacking. Okay, so this can go up to 72%. And I cannot say I appreciate this format. I just don't. But I guess it's one way of imparting information. When attacking, another 180% attack. When attacking with 18 or more key, 300% more attack, and a 30% chance of performing a critical hit. When receiving an attack from an attack who is hit by the character's super attack, 200% defense. I do not like that. I don't. I have mentioned this loads of times. Stop giving the defense only after supering or attacking with X amount of key. Just stop. It just doesn't help a unit. It's like, oh, now I can put him in slot 1 because there's no attacks in slot 0. Come on, you can't be doing this. It's okay. Alright, whatever. When there's another Majin Buu Saga category ally attacking the same turn, or starting from the 5th turn from the character's entry turn, meet up with Super Saiyan 2 Goku Angel and can perform a reversible exchange. They have 1,001 different categories, I guess. Link skills, Super Saiyan, Saiyan Pride, Orbital Flash, Legendary Power, Fierce Battle, Royal Lineage, and Saiyan Warrior Race. What's the... Okay, so there is more. There's definitely more. I do not think these are all of the categories. It says that it's scrolling down. I don't know if it will show us the rest of the categories here. But for the 12 key, raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes colossal damage to the enemy. And when the first attack in the turn is a super attack performed with 24 key, there is a 60% chance for the super attack to become an EX super attack. And this is for sure not going to proc more than 30% of the time. It's just EX super attacks procs with percentages are just not reliable. So the EX super attack effect is greatly raises attack and defense, causes ultimate damage to all enemies, and attacks become effective against all types. Disables all enemies' action once within the turn. The 18 key is a stack, raising attack and defense, and the EX super attack is a greatly raising stack. Long suffering sigh. And the 12th key, of course, is just raises attack and defense for 1 turn, cause damage to the enemy. I don't know how this unit will age. You gotta cut me some slack, but I really do not know how well this Vegeta unit will age. See what the Goku side has, right? Ki plus 3, 250% attack and defense, 18% damage reduction, 40% chance to dodge, 4 or more Ki spheres, or when 2 or more superclass allies are on the team. Ki plus 3, or at least with at least 1 Ki sphere obtained. 180% attack, and launches an additional super attack when attacking. 180% defense, and chance of evading enemy's attack, and damage reduction of 35% when receiving an attack. One thing to see here... Okay, so that can happen on turn 1 anyway. You can switch to Goku on turn 1. So long as you have a Majin Saga category ally on the team. 6 or more Ki spheres obtained, or when 3 or more superclass allies are on the team. Has guard. Ki plus 3 with at least 1 Ki sphere obtained. 180% attack when attacking. Chance of evading enemy's attack plus 10% when receiving an attack. So we have 40%, 75% becomes an 85%, and that's once only. I guess don't get 6 or more Ki spheres until you need it. But if you have 3 or more superclass allies on the team, it'll automatically activate. Why is this a once only thing? 8 or more Ki spheres obtained, or when 4 or more superclass allies are on the team. Ki plus 3 with at least 1 Ki sphere obtained. 180% attack and chance of performing critical at 30%. And all allies attack and defense of 20%. Plus an additional 30% attack and defense for characters who also belong to the Majin Saga category when attacking. Interesting. And then when activating the active skill or when attacking with 18 or more Ki, another 300% attack and a 30% chance of performing a critical hit. And then the active skill on the Goku side can be activated when there are 3 or more extreme class allies or 3 or more super class allies on the team, or starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle once only. Greatly raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to the enemy, and within the turn activated, all attacks become crits, changes all Ki spheres to physical and in Ki spheres. So you could use either side once you use the active skill. I do need to look at this here, right? So he's got 1 guaranteed additional super attack with 4 or more Ki spheres or with 2 or more superclass allies on the team. And he has no other super attacks. Okay. Links become Golden Warrior, All in the Family, Kamehameha, and prepared for battle. Let's go to the Vegeta side, and that replaces Super Saiyan, Saiyan Pride, Over in a Flash, and Royal Lineage. And then the super attacks become, for the 12 Ki, it's a raise attack and defense for 1 turn, and for the 18 Ki, raises attack and defense stacking and causes colossal damage to the enemy, and raises allies' defense by 18% for 3 turns. Now, does this apply to himself or not? And then, to top it off, if you're running double of these guys each turn, it's a decent amount of defense to get. Okay? It is a decent amount of defense to get. Do I believe that this is a busted unit? No. I'm sorry. I do not come into looking at new units and say, okay, they're great. They can do so much damage, they can tank so well. I look for stuff that 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, when we get our next big celebrations in 5 or 6 months, when we have more of our difficult content released, I say, will this unit look like it'll be able to perform? Yes. If you can dodge, great. If you cannot dodge, not really. And I've had so many times where 80% dodge just didn't activate. And a lot of people are having trouble with the UI is 77% chance to activate the dodge, and they don't dodge. And so this unit goes down to actually 75%. Where is the consistency? I do not think it's a bad unit. Okay, I really don't think it's a bad unit altogether. I just don't see how long this unit can last with the way this kit is built. What I see here instead is that an EZA will look something like basic effects: 450% attack, 300% defense, damage reduction rate of 26%, guards all attacks, 3 or more keyseers obtained instead of 5 or more keyseers obtained. That 180% becomes permanent. 7 or more keyseers obtained, and then who knows? They just remove that. Yeah. For Goku's side, key plus 3, 350% attack and defense. Damage reduction rate of 30%. Chance of evading enemies attack 50%. Four or more keyseers obtained, 2 or more superclass allies. 250% attack, 250% defense, and evasion and damage reduction rate of a continue 39%. Something along those lines. And I don't like seeing a kit and saying, oh, I don't think this kit will last 6 months, and an EZA is like 2 years down the line. This is a very good unit, but how long will this unit be good is the main question that I will have. And I think I will continue to have. That's pretty much what's going through my mind right now. Next, we have PUI PUI, which will be the very first SSR UR TUR PUI PUI that we will be getting in game. Corroded Body and Mind or Inhuman Deeds category. Key plus 3 and 130% to stats. Key plus 1 and 100% attack and defense. Great chance of performing a critical hit and a medium chance of avoiding enemies' attacks. So that's a 70% chance of a crit and a 30% chance of evasion. When receiving an attack, gains 100% defense. As the first attacker in a turn, great chance of attack and defense of 713%. And a medium chance of defense of 4,410%. Damage reduction rate and chance of evading enemies' attack plus 40%. So another dodge unit, decent amount of damage reduction, and you will not find out whether or not you got these extra stats, and definitely you won't know how much it'll end up. It'll only activate once you attack. So, meaning once you start the turn, not once you actually attack. As the third attacker on a turn, chances of performing a critical hit and chance of evading enemies' attack and damage reduction rate increased by 30%. So now it becomes a 60% chance to dodge with 30% damage reduction. A great chance of 713 attack and defense when attacking, and a high chance of attack plus 4,410% when attacking with 12 or more key. So that's a 70% chance for the 713% attack and defense, and a 50% chance for the 4,410%. When 4 or more Majin Buu Saga category allies are on the team, or when all allies are extreme characters, has the Scouter ability, randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, and another 10% chance of evading enemy's attack, and guard. So in slot 1, that would be an 80% chance to dodge. In slot 3, that would be a 70% chance to dodge. This is a very cool banner unit. I am wondering how often that will actually proc and how often that won't. It's definitely not going to be something that boils down to the 30% chance. But if that happens, you know, great. You. This is the second coming of what is it, Texan Shenron? The super attack raises attack and defense, causes supreme damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers defense. So it's a stacking super attack. There is not a single additional in the passive. I don't know how viable a dodge build will work, and I really don't know how viable a additional hint of potential system would work. Like, there's no additionals at all in the kit. So this stacking 30% attack and defense is not going to be a lot, because what is he going to be at? What, 13,700 attack and approximately 9,600 defense? It's not a lot. No, it really isn't. What is odd to see is that Vegeta is a extreme physical unit, right? Goku is also an extreme physical unit. And PUI PUI is an extreme physical unit. That is very interesting to see, of course. All in all, really good LR. I don't know how they will do in the long run. And a quite incredible banner unit. Again, chances of activating. I don't like those chances. That's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hope you all enjoyed. If you're new here, if you haven't already done so, please do consider subscribing. I hope you'll have a great rest of your day. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Potion signing off.